A woman who cannot be corrected cannot be led. This is the girl who fights you for the steering wheel, crashes the car, then blames you for the accident. She doesn't want to get it right, she wants to be right. You're loyal, you're consistent, and you're emotionally available. But for some reason, she continues to pull back. Why? Because desire isn't built on effort. It's built on uncertainty and self-control. And unfortunately, most men these days eliminate both. Overavailability feels safe to win. It feels like cheap attraction because they're rarely required to work for it. And what is always accessible is rarely respected. This is exactly why I tell you guys to never commit to a woman who cannot be corrected. If she flips out every single time you call her out, you ain't in love, gang. You're in trouble. A woman who cannot be corrected cannot be led. This is the girl who fights you for the steering wheel, crashes the car, then blames you for the accident. She doesn't want to get it right, she wants to be right. And every time you correct her, she acts like you personally attacked her character. That ain't love, gentlemen, that's ego. Then she'll hit you with the, "You're controlling." Nah, bruh, you're just setting standards. She's just not used to discipline, only attention. When you correct her and she gets defensive, it's not about the point you make. It's about the power she feels like she's losing. She'll call you toxic, manipulative, and cold, all because you told her the truth. And modern women don't just hate lies. They also hate accountability. If she cannot be corrected, then she cannot be trusted. Because the moment life gets real, she'd rather argue than adapt. A quality woman will check herself before you have to. She'll hear you out, she'll process it, and then she'll course correct. This is what wives do, not emotional toddler. You don't fix that kind of woman, gentlemen. You outgrow her. And respect isn't built on silence. It is built on an immediate correction that gets received and not rejected. And if you want to learn how to be the kind of man who can correct women and become the kind of man she respects, go to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. The hard truth is that most men don't lose women. They lose leverage. And everything collapses after that. The mistake isn't loving her, guys. It's leading with emotion before structure. This is where the power quietly shifts. And I talk about this extensively in my book, How to Properly Vet Women for Long-Term Relationships, and you can find that on datingwisdom.net. When a man over-explains, over-gives, and over-invests early, he is teaching the woman one thing: I'll stay no matter what. Attraction doesn't just die from boredom. It also dies from predictability without authority. She already knows your next move, and when that happens, she stops respecting it. And this is where most men get confused. You're loyal, you're consistent, and you're emotionally available. But for some reason, she continues to pull back. Why? Because desire isn't built on effort. It's built on uncertainty and self-control. And unfortunately, most men these days eliminate both. Modern women don't test men with questions. They test men with situations. They test men with silence, boundaries, delays, temptation. Fail enough of those tests, and she doesn't argue. She simply repositions you. And during that time, she'll move you from partner to provider and eventually to background noise. And by the time she says, "I'm confused" or "I need space," the decision has already been made. You're just late to the reality. The men who win with women aren't colder. They're just clearer. They know when to invest, when to pull back, and when to walk away. Most men learn this after heartbreak, after wasted years, after financial and emotional damage. But the smart men learn it before any of this takes place. And if you want to avoid wasting times chasing the wrong women for the wrong reasons and wasting your time and money, head on over to datingwisdom.net for the best dating wisdom on the net. Link in description and or bio. Most cases, but a man's biggest weakness isn't desire, it's urgency. Because the instant you rush to explain, fix, prove, or secure, you lose leverage. Women don't respond to speed, they respond to stability. Speed feels emotional, while stability feels powerful. When you slow down, she leans in. When you overinvest, she evaluates exit plans. Most men give everything early and then wonder why nothing lasts. Scarcity isn't pretending to be busy. It's genuinely having a life that doesn't orbit validation. If your absence changes nothing, then your presence never meant much in the first place. So if you want to learn how to become the man she chases rather than the man she replaces, head over to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. It was an extremely expensive lesson for him, but what this shows is that most men lose not because they lose because they love without leverage. Attraction doesn't grow from effort, gentlemen. It grows from self-containment. When a man is grounded, busy, and internally complete, interest follows. Overavailability feels safe to win. It feels like cheap attraction because they're rarely required to work for it. And what is always accessible is rarely respected. So here's the uncomfortable truth, guys. Care is powerful while neediness is expensive. These two things look similar to beginners, but their outcomes could not be more different. And the reason is because men confuse intensity with value. They think giving more builds connection, But in reality, it's the structure that builds connection. It's the boundaries that build the desire. The man who stays centered controls the pace, not because he's cold, but because he's not outsourcing his work. So love isn't lost because of restraint. It's lost because of overextension. Master your frame, or someone else will rewrite it for you. So in the end, most men don't fail at love. They simply fail at self-control. Intensity without structure is how you quickly and quietly lose respect. So if you want to learn self-restraint in the dating market, get your hands on my 25-hour course, Dating Wisdom A to Z, which can be found on datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio.